Hello, fifth graders. This is Ms. Fuad. Today we are starting our unit on the 5 regions of the United States. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the West. Let's go ahead and get started. The West region of the United States is made up of 11 states. They are Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and even Alaska and Hawaii. Those last 2 states are part of the West region, but are not part of the contiguous or connected United States. Let's take a look at the history. The contiguous Western states have been populated by Native Americans since at least 11,000 BC. Alaska's history goes back even further than that. Around 14,000 BC, nomads crossed an ancient land bridge that connected Asia and North America at that time. In modern history, Europeans made contact with the native people living on the Hawaiian Islands when Captain James Cook arrived in 1778. In the late 1700s, Europeans also made contact in Alaska when Russians moved into the area. For the contiguous Western states, there was a major population boom in the mid-1800s. It began with the Oregon Trail, which was a 2,200-mile-long wagon trail. That route began in Missouri and led settlers all the way to the Oregon valleys. At that same time, the California Gold Rush brought around 300,000 people west. They were called 49ers from 1849 when many individuals arrived. They were hoping to strike it rich by panning or mining for gold. Let's take a look at the climate. The West is the largest of the 5 regions in the United States. It is also very spread out, so the climate varies greatly in this region. The lower coastal areas along the Pacific Ocean have very warm summers and mild winters. The Northwest states like Washington and Oregon usually don't have extreme temperatures. It isn't normally really hot or really cold there, but they can get a lot of rain. Inland states with mountains such as Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and Colorado can get quite cold during the winter months at higher elevations. Much of Nevada and Utah are dry desert. The climate there does not offer much precipitation. Hawaii is the state located closest to the equator. As a result, it is warm all year round. Hawaii also receives a lot of precipitation. The rains are heavy during the wet season, which lasts from October until April. In contrast, Alaska is the northernmost state in the U.S. Since it is so far from the equator, it is also the coldest state. Alaska receives a lot of precipitation throughout the year in the form of rain and lots of snow. Alaska has short summers and very long winters. Some states can even have both dry, hot deserts and cold, snow-covered mountains. Next, let's take a look at the land. The West is diverse with many different land features. They include mountains, deserts, glaciers, forests, plains, and beaches. We have many different mountain ranges. The longest mountain range is the Rocky Mountains, which are over 3,000 miles long. Also called the Rockies, this range starts in Canada and stretches all the way down to New Mexico in the southwest region of the United States. Some other mountain ranges include the Sierra Nevada, that's mostly in California, and the Cascade Range. You may have heard of these since they are near us in Washington. They're also called the Cascades, and they extend from Canada down through our state of Washington, through Oregon, and also Northern California. We can also find mountains in both Hawaii and Alaska. In between the Sierra Nevada and the Rocky Mountains is a place called the Great Basin. It's a very large, mostly dry area, and it's about 200,000 square miles of desert. We also have several forests. For example, about 45% of California's surface area is covered by forests. It contains more forest land than any other state except for Alaska. Since Hawaii and Alaska are so far away from the other states, the land there is very different as well. Hawaii is made up of 8 main islands and many smaller islands. The islands were formed by volcanoes that erupted a long time ago. The land in Hawaii is made up of sandy beaches, tropical rainforests, mountains, and volcanoes. Today, 2 Hawaiian volcanoes are active above ground and 1 is still active underwater. Alaska is connected by land to Canada, and it sits across a narrow sea from Russia. It's the largest state in the United States. Its land is more than twice the size of Texas. Alaska has mountains and flatland, but very little farming takes place due to the cold climate. The short 100-day growing season limits crops that can be grown. One interesting fact about the West is that the fault lines located here cause this region to have lots of earthquakes. Let's take a look at the economy. Because there are so many states in the West, we have many major industries. They are fishing, shipping, farming, ranching, timber, technology, entertainment industry, and also tourism. Let's take a look at natural resources. Natural resources are materials that are found in the environment, not made by humans. The West region has several valuable natural resources. Oil is found underground and under the sea in Alaska. The oil is pumped out and then used for energy and turned into products such as gasoline. Gold, silver, and copper are all metals that have been mined out of the Rocky Mountains. Timber is another resource found in the West. There are many forests in the region that provide timber which can be made into a lot of different things that we use every day. Water is also a natural resource. Dams have been built to harness the power that results from the force of falling or fast-moving water. Hydropower, or water power, can be used to create electricity for people to use in their homes and businesses. It's a great way to create energy, and it is not bad for the environment. The dams use the water's power without creating dangerous pollution. It's also a renewable resource. Renewable means that we won't run out of it. The largest location of hydropower creation in the U.S. is in the Columbia River Basin. It is located in the Pacific Northwest part of this region, and it is the source of almost half of the country's hydroelectricity. Landmarks are important places. They can be man-made things such as a monument, they can be historical locations, and they can also be things created by nature that are unique in some way. We have many different landmarks in the West, but today we're just going to take a look at a few. The first one we're going to take a look at is the USS Arizona Memorial in Honolulu, Hawaii. This memorial, located at Pearl Harbor, is accessible only by boat. It is located on the water above where the USS Arizona still rests. The next one is the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California. The Golden Gate Bridge is a suspension bridge located in Northern California. It's about 1.7 miles long. The suspension design allows the bridge to move, swaying slightly in strong winds. The design lets the bridge flex if it needs to during an earthquake rather than break. The last landmark we're going to look at is Old Faithful in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Old Faithful is a geyser. The name Old Faithful was given to the geyser because it faithfully erupts at regular time intervals. When it erupts, it shoots boiling water into the air to the height of up to 185 feet. Today, we looked at many different aspects of the Western region, including the history, climate, economy, natural resources, and even landmarks. I hope you enjoyed our lesson about the West and look forward to learning all sorts of information about the other regions as well.